The Internet of Things is actually a term that's been going for nearly 20 years, if you look at it. But it's really come into reality in the last several years, and it's building in software and interconnectivity to pretty much any device, from your refrigerator to your sneakers, etc. And why is it important to build security into these devices? Well, a lot of internet traffic now is just between these interconnected devices, requiring no human interaction whatsoever. So building security into these devices that are talking to each other is going to be markedly more important over the next few years.
I think the way to look at this for the average person is we're putting software on everything and we're connecting it to everything else. And one analogy I use for my neighbors is if you take something and you put software on it, you make it vulnerable. And if you add connectivity, you make it exposed. So take a toaster that was perfectly legitimately safe, and now you add an IP address and some software, and now you have a hackable exposed toaster. And that's okay because we're going to get benefits out of some of this technology. We just want to make sure that that cost-benefit trade-off is conscious and complete, and then we'll make smarter choices. But the risks are severe to both privacy and safety. I think too often we go to privacy like PII or PCI card data, but I think of my children. As a father, I'm deeply concerned about some of the design choices people are making. And as such, movements like rugged software, like I Am the Cavalry, and like this investment that ISC² is making to pull in some of the more forward-thinking minds in the industry, it's really to make sure that we drive that education awareness before we have a compelling event, rather than waiting for negative consequences.
So the Internet of Things goes into what we see every day, which is devices being created for convenience. Convenience, everything from your online device that's being able to monitor and let you know about your weather in your local address, online video cameras to watch your children perhaps when you're out of town or even in the same house. Those things that are now connected become sort of available for folks for convenience. Why they're important and things we need to be concerned about is certainly about the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of those devices. So however they may be used, whether it be a refrigerator, whether it be a toaster, whether it be a sensor in the SCADA network that provides information for the trading floor, they can be used in many different ways, but it really goes back to the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of how those devices will be used.
This web of interconnected devices that have software running on them. So from smartphones to smart meters that have automations in homes to medical devices to even like biochips that they use in farming and husbandry and things like that. And all of this is now being connected, pretty much controlled with the possibility of being controlled remotely. And so if it is insecure, then it is in a place we actually put ourselves in jeopardy when we use these devices. And so software that is running on it, even if it has a small footprint on it, it's a very critical footprint. And so making sure that they are resilient to hacker attacks, making sure that that people can't get to the data that is in those systems, and making sure that not only security on one angle but also privacy on the other angle is addressed is very, very crucial. Otherwise we'll be living in a very, very hazardous world is what I would say.